Hello and welcome to English Cottage Catholic. May the peace of Christ be with you. So it's now the wonderful month of June and the garden is full of these amazing roses, billowing, blousy, beautiful roses, and I am absolutely loving it. I do love roses. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you might have noticed that they do quite often feature roses in them in one way or another. And at the moment, it's such a great time for them. They're just looking so achingly lovely. The bees are loving them. I have lots of roses that the bees are really enjoying buzzing around, and it's just so pleasant to just either sit out in the garden or just wander around the garden and just really soak up that sort of romantic rose garden atmosphere. It's so lovely. So what you can see in the video at the moment is the area of the garden where I'd like to create this mini wildflower meadow, and I am really looking forward to this project. At the moment there are a few roses planted around and there's just this blank bit of grass, and I thought that would look really nice with some stepping stones and all around some cornflowers and other really pretty wildflowers. And then behind that, where there's a kind of a little bit of blank wooden fence that you can see, I'd like to plant a new rose and then train it to go up the fence so that in a few years time it should cover the fence and fill in that gap. I'll be using the no-dig gardening method, and as you can see I have a huge pile of cardboard ready. The other things I'll need are some compost to put on top of the cardboard and the wildflower seeds, some stepping stones, and I also need to get a rose. And I've decided to go to the Cotswold Rose Centre to find a beautiful old rose. I'm really keen on the old roses because they've got that history. They're so beautiful. They're just simply beautiful. You get the lovely fragrance, and I'm able to take cuttings from them, which you can't do from the new roses. Old roses, because they're so old and beautiful, you're allowed to take cuttings and they make a really lovely gift. So when you've taken a cutting, a couple of years later, you have a little rose plant that you can give to somebody. It makes a really nice gift, and that's what I like to do sometimes. So I'm aiming to get an old rose and pop to the garden centre to get the other supplies, as well as which I thought, well, if I'm going to be creating a mini meadow, perhaps I should get some inspiration from the experts, and I've decided to take a trip to Chippy Flower Farm and have a look at their beautiful wildflower meadow. Next port of call is the Cotswold Rose Centre. They have a totally and utterly amazing collection of roses for sale on display both inside and outdoors. If you are also rose shopping, I highly recommend visiting. And actually, even if you're not rose shopping, it's really quite an astounding sight. And my heart started to beat a bit faster, which is why I chose a piece of music that the beat was a bit faster. And rose lovers, if you were here too, your hearts would be pounding too. Here, there's something for everyone. A rose for every place and every space. We have miniature roses here and standard roses, bush roses, climbing roses, rambling roses, old roses, modern roses, David Austin roses, and everywhere there's just such a lovely riot of colour, and the fragrance is so beautiful walking along. It's the loveliest smell ever. It's better than walking past the perfume counter. It's much nicer the lovely smell of hundreds of roses all together on a carefree summer's afternoon. After browsing inside for a while, I decided to take a look outside, and it's such a wonderful surprise when you come out here because you think you've seen it all and then you're greeted by hundreds more roses. It's just the most joyful sight ever. I came across a rose which has been on my wish list for donkey's years. It's called Madame Isaac Perrier. This rose was first introduced in 1881, so that's nice and old. It has large, deep pink blooms and a powerful, enchanting fragrance throughout the summer and the early autumn. It can grow on fences, walls, trellises and pergolas, so it will be perfect for where I want it to go in the garden, growing up against the fence. Also today, I went to Mass at St Hugh's, Woodstock. There is actually a Catholic church in Chipping Norton, the area where the Flower Farm and the Rose Centre are, but the timings at St Hugh's worked better for me. It's only 20 minutes away from Chipping Norton in the village of Woodstock, Oxfordshire, which is where Blenheim Palace is. It's such a gorgeous church. Let's take a look together. Back at home, thanks be to God, and I am 100% ready to plant the rose and to create a mini meadow. First, I give the rose a really hearty amount of water to make sure it's had a really thorough drink before planting. Then I need to dig a hole. Mud, mud, glorious mud, nothing quite like it for cooling the blood. I mixed a bit of compost with the soil, so when the rose was planted, the earth was a mixture of the original soil from the hole and some no-peat compost added into the mix. I added some mycorrhizal fungi to the bottom of the hole and around the sides of the rose roots. The rose is now in its new home. Hooray! Next, it's time to fill in the gaps around the rose with the mixture of soil and no-peat compost. So follow me, follow, down to the hollow, and there let us wallow in glorious mud. Oh dear, sorry about that. Press firmly on the soil all the way around the rose. Then I sprinkled a generous amount of rose food around the rose and watered it in. Ta-da! Stage 1 of the mini meadow mission is accomplished. I do hope Madame Isaac Perrier will be happy in her new home. She's planted beside Madame Alfred Carrier, and I feel sure they're going to be great friends for many, many years to come. To create the wildflower garden, I put the cardboard over the grass and then covered the cardboard with peat-free compost. I love compost when it's fresh like this, that gorgeous rich brown colour, and it's so fluffy and soft to the touch. Then I placed the stepping stones on top of the compost. I didn't want them to look too symmetrical, and I chose the places where I thought it would be most convenient for them to be for purposes of me watering and being able to reach the rose. They get a bit of compost on them at this stage, but a mixture of me watering and the rain raining will soon clean them up a bit. Next, I placed some decorative stones I had as a border between the meadow and the grass, and they serve the purpose of hiding any bits of cardboard at the edge that weren't completely covered, and it also looks really pretty. Look at this! The area has been totally transformed, and it was so simple using the no-dig method. Now let's take a look at the seeds. I got 2 varieties of calendula, sometimes called English marigold. Indian Prince, which is a striking orange colour, and Snow Princess, which is a creamy white colour. I also got some Shirley Single mixed poppy seeds because I thought they looked so charming. They have that tissue paper flower look. The petals from these particular calendulas are edible, They have a delicious peppery taste and you can put them in salads and in teas. And once grown, the poppies have the little black seeds that you can take from the flowers and use in baking and cooking. I also got some polka dot mixed cornflower seeds, which is a variety where the flowers will be a mixture of pinks and blues and white. First of all, I prep the soil by watering it well. Then I sprinkle the seeds evenly over the entire mini meadow area. Wherever I want flowers to be, that's where I'll sprinkle the seeds. Last of all, I water the whole area using a watering can with a rose attachment. This ensures everything gets watered with a gentle spray of water. And you'll notice that I didn't cover the seeds with any extra compost. I just sprinkled them on and left them. That will be enough for this type of seed at this time of year. Every day I'll be watering the new meadow once in the morning and once in the evening to keep the soil and the seeds moist. And I'm really looking forward to the time that I notice the seedlings have started to sprout. Well, after creating a new mini wildflower meadow and all the wonderful experiences of today, it's time to have a nice cup of tea and a sit down in the garden. I got out the old wind-up gramophone and put on a record for the 1950s, a song which you might well recognise. Thanks for watching. Please do like this video, share it with your friends and subscribe to the English Cottage Catholic channel. Till next time, bye!
Gaze at the bottom as it peacefully lay by the light of the evening star. Away on the hilltop sat combing her hair his fair hippopotamine maid. The hippopotamus was no ignoramus and sang her this sweet serenade. Mud, mud, glorious mud, nothing quite like it for cooling the blood. So follow me, follow, down to the hollow, and there let us wallow in the glorious mud. The fair hippopotamus he aimed to entice from her seat on the hilltop above. As she hadn't got a ma to give her advice, came tiptoeing down to her love. Like thunder, the forest re-echoed the song of the song that they sang as they met. His inamorata adjusted her garter and lifted her voice in duet.